Salutations, ladies and gentlemen, the Streaming Enderman here, back again with another video. And in today's video, I will be showing a used knife. Yes, I know this is different. And this particular knife is quite special, as it is my second Great Eastern Cutlery knife. Now, for those who own this knife, you will immediately recognize this as one of the most hardworking traditional knives that GEC has ever produced. And this is absolutely true. This is the GEC number 99 Farm and Field Farmer's Lock. And this, of course, it came with no packaging. It was bought for a very, very reasonable price at a medieval fest. And personally, I think that this is an excellent knife in every sense of the word. And I will do a bit of an overview of it for those who have never seen one of these before. So, to start, this is a Farm and Field, which is GEC's more budget line, and they aren't cheap necessarily. They are still rather expensive, but compared to the much higher prices of a Northfield cutlery or even a Tajute cutlery, they are vastly easier to afford. And this particular model is, I believe, also made in the Tajute line, known as the Wall Street. And it is offered with a Warncliffe blade, stainless steel bolsters, and I believe you can get a few handle options, but one is chestnut wood. And I would, of course, I prefer that, a wood handle and a Warncliffe blade, but this is still a very nice, simple design, and it makes for a very good work knife. So, as for the specs on this knife, you can expect to get about, that's roughly about 2 3/4 inches of sharpened blade, and just a little bit over 3 inches. Oh no, sorry, that is incorrect. So about 2 3/4 inch sharpened length, and just barely 3 inches overall blade length. So some places this will be allowed, some places this won't. It does have a lock, so for those who can't carry a locking blade, this will not be allowed in your area. Brass. Something interesting about this, there's only one pin on each side. One brass pin on each side. You have a brass cutout for a lanyard. And of course you have this rivet up here that says F&F USA, which stands for Farm and Field. This is on both sides of the knife. You have some very nice thick slabs of OD green linen micarta. And the camera isn't, I'd say the camera isn't picking this up very well, but this really doesn't look like olive drab green. In fact, from afar, it looks like brown or even black. Now, I believe it will lighten in color over time with use, but at the moment, this is quite dark, and you can't really see the green in there. My Lion Steel Jack in green micarta is far clearer, and you can tell it's green. This, you can't really. But nice thick pieces of micarta, carbon steel for the liners and the spring, and a 1095 carbon steel spear point blade. Now, the blade itself used to have a marking on it, but it was already kind of fading away with the patina when I first got it, and I just went all in and did a coffee patina on here, because it's either you have the logo and you keep the blade free of any sort of corrosion or patina, or you just let the whole thing patina, and you have this. And because the logo had already been halfway obscured by the patina coating, I figured why not go all in and just make the entire blade a nice dark color. And I like this look. It always makes the knife look worn in and like it's been used a bit, which in this case this probably was. Although I did not see any scratches from any form of sharpening, so perhaps whoever sharpened it just took very good care to not scratch the blade when sharpening, but chances are there was just no use involved in here. Fit and finish wise, no blade play side to side. Incredibly slight bit of movement up and down. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Let's try over here. There's a very, very, very slight bit of up and down blade play. The grind for the handles, the sanding is well done. The blade is centered when it is open. Transition from blade to spring is good. Is that a gap? No real gapping, it's just the spring is sitting a little bit proud up here. You can see that's what's causing that little visual effect. It almost looks like it could be a gap. Just no gapping overall. Spring cutout, or cut off I should say, is extremely well done, as you would expect from a GEC. The lock is a little bit stiff. It was much stiffer when we first got it, but after a bit of oiling, it's a lot smoother. I still have smoother lock blades out there. One of the most notable is the Moki Fish Owl, which I recently reviewed. That's a good example of a much smoother action. But nice nail nick, opens with a good snap. In the closed position, the blade doesn't sit proud and is absolutely perfect centering wise. The logos, or rather the stamp here, is very clear. Even with the patina, it says Farm and Field, made in USA. On this side, it just has the number, GEC TIW. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but 99 is the pattern, 2 is the blade, 1 how many blades there are, and 14 for 2014. So believe it or not, this knife, as of recording this, is 8 years old, which is pretty impressive, I gotta say. It's not as old as my Buck 505 that I found that was made in 2011, but, you know, I think this was a very good find for a GEC, seeing as how fast they disappear on the secondary market and how much they are in demand even still. This was a very good find, if you ask me. But yeah, I really like the profile of this knife. It's very simple. Not my favorite shape in the world. In fact, I actually prefer this knife, which I've been carrying a bit more frequently. The Otter Dry Nietenmesser. This is a very nicely put together knife by Ottermesser of Zollingen, Germany. This also features a carbon steel spear point blade. And unlike this knife, this is a slip joint. Does not feature any form of lock, but I actually prefer this knife over this one, as it just has a bit more character to it. It feels more unique, whereas this knife just feels a little bit, I normally don't say this, but almost a bit too simple. I see how it would be a very good knife for using, as it is very comfortable and very well made, but to me, I like having a bit more to my knife, if that makes any sense, a bit more when it comes to detailing. For example, these grinded bolsters, these 3 rivets, the character of the wood. I just prefer a style more like this. But this was still by all means a very good find. Startlingly, the blade on the 3 rivet knife is quite a bit larger than on the Farmer's Lock. And seeing a slip joint this size is not very common. So if you were to think, you'd think that the lock blade would be the one with the larger blade, but nope, not in this scenario. The slip joint is indeed larger. No, all in all, this was a very good find in my eyes. I think that the price I paid was reasonable compared to the fact that this is a 8-year-old knife and they aren't making them anymore. I do like the micarta despite it not being very green. Construction is simple, yet well done. Very few flaws I can find except for that little bit of blade play up and down a little. That's the only thing I can find that's really wrong about this knife. I like how the patina turned out. 1095 is always a reliable steel choice. And just all in all, no, a very nice little hardworking GEC. Definitely, again, it is not my favorite knife that I've ever bought. In fact, my other GEC, the White Owl pen knife from Northfield, I quite a bit prefer over this knife, but that's just my preference. Let me know what you think in the comments of this knife. I think it was still a good find, and will make for a good collection item. And who knows, maybe one day I'll take it out and actually use it, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will end up being one of my favorite using knives. But in the meantime, thank you again for watching. This has been the GEC number 99 Farmer's Lock Blade in OD green linen micarta. And this is the Streaming Enderman, as always, signing off. Goodbye.